Hello guys, welcome to a new trade recap on MagicFX. As some of you may or may not know, there's been a few changes to the strategy at Magic over the past couple of weeks. Some things that I've been working on for a long time finally come to fruition, and I've been delivering new content to the Academy and changing the way we look at the market just a little bit. I mean, it's all based off what the strategy was before, but it's just a more refined way of looking at swing structure with major and minor structure, and looking more closely at unmitigated ranges and playing trades from areas that we may not have looked at before. So it's basically opened up a lot more opportunities, and a lot of chances for like sniper entries that we're getting in on. So moving along, this was a trade taken on Euro USD on the 1st of March, and it was a very good start to the month. It was a 100-hour trade, and so yeah, let's get into it. This was the 4-hour, and as you can see, we're bearish. So from here to here, we were bearish. We cemented this low. Changed character down here, had a strong bullish run back up here, swept the high into something over here, ultimately failed to close above it twice, and then changed character on the 4-hour. So we actually changed character twice on the 4-hour. Here we had a valid change of character, and I've also changed what makes a valid change of character. So now just a wick is enough for me to take a change of character on the 4-hour, whereas before I required a body close, so it wouldn't be confirmed until over at this point. Now I've kind of changed the way I define it, due to the fact that a change of character is really a failure of the most recent supply or demand zone you have, and if a wick passes through a zone, that means there were no orders there, and supply or demand has ultimately taken control over that zone, and the character has changed, even if it's just a wick through it. So it makes sense just to take a wick break on a change of character. So we had one over here, then that kind of price came back to mitigate what caused that change of character, continued down a little bit more, then ultimately price came up higher, swept any sells that got in here before giving a stronger break to the downside. So if we look at our strongest change of character at this point, you can see that is what we got. And if we look at price, if we follow substructure down, after we got this change of character, you can kind of look at substructure in the same way you look at swing structure with cemented lows and such like. So looking at this bearish, even though it's not the overall swing, it's like a sub swing, because this low was cemented at this point with this candle closed above the one to its left. And you can kind of see that this leg gets mitigated to the premium at this point, and then price breaks below it again. So we have this substructural leg again that's formed here. And you know, when you've got such a huge bullish or bearish swing leg, it's perfectly valid to start breaking down structure a bit more into substructure, just so you can, you know, get involved in more trades, because you know this is it's going to take a while for price to move from, you know, this point to this point, so you're going to be waiting around for a long time if you're just looking at the extreme zones. But if you can, if you get a change of character, and you've got a lot of space for price to move around in, it's perfectly valid to start looking at substructure, whilst obviously still bearing in mind what's going on with the overall swings. So if you look at this price, we came down, mitigated the premium, came down again, prices come up, mitigated something in the premium, and then what did we get? We got a 4-hour change of character right here. So right there, you see, after sweeping something here, this pause in the market got swept, some sort of 15-minute high probably in there, that got taken, price mitigated the premium with 4-hour change character. Okay, so once this happened, price again came back to this supply zone on the 4-hour. So at this point, we're thinking, right, what's going to happen when price comes back to this area? Do we get a 15-minute change of character? So at this point, I'm happy to go down a time frame and see what's going on there. And we can break down the 15-minute. Now you can see, you know, I've got a bit of major and minor structure going on here. The major structure, just briefly going into it, this is new source, but major swing structure is swing structure that gets mitigated to the premium or discount if it's bullish, before going on to break structure again. Now you can see we had major structure, we had swing structure built here. We cemented a low here, and then price broke down again. But because this wasn't mitigated to the premium before price broke down again, while this was still a swing leg here, it's just a minor swing leg as opposed to a major swing leg. And so this entire leg itself was still open for sells. And what you can see is that, and you see this all over the place once you start to notice it. The guys in the academy are saying, you know, it's changed the way they see the charts, and you just see it all over the place. So because this wasn't mitigated to the premium before breaking down again, and then so we're always expecting this high to get taken, because a high, when we break structure again, this high tends to become liquidity, to be swept, because it didn't mitigate anything of the previous range. And so what happened was that high was swept, price came into the premium, ultimately got quite a good reaction from this zone right here. You could have taken sells from that, but overall ultimately failed. So this swing got taken at this point up here. Okay, now the market, the 15-minute technically was bullish, and then we had this huge drop down. Now you can see the same thing with the minor structure that formed before it. Okay, so we had, if we take this away now, we had this low, and then we broke this minor structure here up to this point. Now price then continued to break structure to the upside without ever mitigating this discount. You can see it was close, but never actually mitigated anything in the discount. And you can see it on a smaller level here. Price came up, broke structure again, didn't mitigate anything close to the discount, swept that low, and then continued up, but still didn't mitigate anything in the discount. So then this low got swept, and we finally mitigated this extreme level at the discount, and price continued up. But there's always another side to the story, and on the 4-hour we created this 4-hour supply zone, and had a 4-hour change of character here, and so price has come back into that 4-hour zone. And what did we get right here? A 15-minute change of character right there. Okay, so now we've had a 4-hour change of character. Price has come and tapped that 4-hour supply zone that was formed, and we've had a 15-minute change of character. Okay, so now, you know, price is fractal, does the same thing on every time frame. So now we're looking at this 15-minute zone. And what I like to do after we've had the change of character and price is coming back up into this zone is then go on the 1 minute and look at what's happened when that zone became formed. So if we look at 1 minute structure, we can see we've had a break of this high right here. Then price has come down and broken again, so we've got bullish structure on the 1 minute here. We've had this, and then we broke structure to the downside here. Now again, the same shit happened again here. So this is our first break of structure on the 1 minute. Price didn't ever come to mitigate anything in the premium here before continuing down. So this 15-minute supply zone that was formed that caused the 15-minute change of character here also contains a 1 minute unmitigated premium. So there's certain levels within it, such as this inside bar that's in the premium. There's a couple of other levels up here as well as the extreme. So yeah, certain levels you can pick out. And what we've started to do with the strategy is pick out these levels, and then we'll take the smallest sort of confirmation from those, which is just a 1 minute change of character. You know, usually I'd like a 1 minute break of structure. So looking at that right there, so now all I want is a change of character on the 1 minute. And you can see price has come up, tapped in. So a change of character on the 1 minute would be this low. It would also be a break of structure, so that there's no other level that you could get a change of character from. So sometimes a change of character and a break of structure are the one and the same thing. And we get that right there. So at this point, I'm just waiting for price to come tap into this level and give it a 5-second break of structure, and I'll get in on the extreme of that. Price continues down a bit, blah 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 blah. This is still open. Yeah, again, because you see the same thing happened once again here. Price came down, formed a low, didn't mitigate the premium, and then continued down. So there's two levels here where you could look for a 5-second entry, in fact. And because we didn't mitigate that, this stays open as a level to look for trades. If the premium had been mitigated, we didn't get in, and then price continued down, I'd no longer be looking at these levels to get involved in. So now I'm just patiently waiting for price to tap in. So we see at this point, you know, there may have been a 5-second. I can't unfortunately look at the 5-second during this video because it was too long ago. And that I can tell you now, there was no 5-second in this zone, so get rid of that. Now we've tapped into the extreme zone. I can tell you now, there was a 5-second break of structure here. So all I do on the 5-second, once we get a 5-second break of structure, is take my entry. I usually, almost always usually, now sometimes I go a little bit bigger, but just take a 1 pip stop loss at the extreme of a 5-second break of structure if it all looks good. If there's a nice level there, and I'll just leave that open until we potentially, if we broke structure or change character or something, I would most likely then remove my 5-second limit and wait for another 5-second boss if price came back. But otherwise it stays open. And price mucked about for a bit and eventually tapped us in over here. So at this point I'm in the trade. That's it. Now, because if we look on a higher time frame, target wise, we are bearish. We've had a 4-hour change of character from this substructural premium. We could overall expect this 4-hour low to go. So target down here, like this. I kind of wanted the round number of 100R, so I just went for that myself, and was happy to go with that target. But you know, you could have gone all the way down to this, and as we know now, price did just continue to fall from this point. So yeah, you could have got a good trade either way, but I just went for the 100 straight myself. And now what I do also is take partials. So at 1 to 4 I go risk free by taking 20% off. So 1 to 4 was very quickly here in this trade. It's somewhere like there. And then also to be safe, I took a decent chunk off. If we look at price again, always look at price in the same way. There was this sort of last, we had this break. Yeah, I was basically looking at you know, these areas here as potential areas for price to continue up, because we still had these areas above that price could react to. So if price wanted to continue up to go here, it may go from somewhere in the in these demand zones. So once price got down to here, I think it was about 10R, I was happy to take some off as well, and then just leave the rest running because we were in profit, and I was happy. And we had enough reason to go for the big trade with this one. So overall, price just dropped for the rest of the day, and was quite a nice, fairly simple trade just to hold through, and take the profits right at the bottom there once we struck our 100R. Right there. So yeah, that's kind of a summary of the new strategy, how I look at trades now, and sort of a roundup of how I got into that trade. Some of you might have seen on Instagram me posting that while I was in it live. So yes, new content coming soon. I hope you like the new intro video. But yeah, if you want to learn how to take these trades properly, these show up every day. Come join MagicFX, give it a try. And yeah, in there, I'm in the Discord every day, chatting to the group, answering questions. I go live on Zooms, and I'm rolling out the new refined content to do with unmitigated ranges, major, minor, structure, and all that good stuff coming out soon at the Academy. So yeah, I hope you're all well, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon.